camera opens on a quiet Irish courtroom. No dramatic shouting, no Hollywood speeches. Just a normal day in Dublin Circuit Criminal Court until a sentence lands that makes the entire room sit up straight. A car dealer tells investigator he believed senior guards were trying to extort money from him. Yeah, that is not how most business stories start. This is the case of Stephen O'Sullivan, a man who says he was being set up, a man who says he felt trapped, and a trial that is forcing a jury to decide which version of reality they believe. Let's go back to the beginning. Stephen O'Sullivan is a Limerick car dealer in his early 40s. He runs a business called Seven Pound Motors. On paper, it looks like normal life. Selling cars, running a yard, paying bills, the kind of job where the biggest daily drama is usually someone asking for a discount and saying their cousin can do it cheaper. But in late 2018, everything changed because prosecutor says O'Sullivan offered money to a detective guard, not a gift, not a misunderstanding, a corruption charge. He's accused of giving money to detective guard David Bork, the alleged reason to get confidential information about the Criminal Assets Bureau investigation into his business. Now, if you know anything about the Criminal Assets Bureau, you know that when they appear in your life, your stress levels instantly skyrocket. O'Sullivan plead not guilty, and then he makes a claim that flips the entire story upside down. He says he believed he was being extorted by guards. And just like that, this case stops being simple. Now it is a battle of credibility. We jump to January of 2019. Detective Sergeant David Gilmore from the National Bureau of Criminal Investigation travels to Newcastle West in County Limerick. His mission is to arrest O'Sullivan. He does not find him at the first address, so he travels to Broadford and meets him there with his father. O'Sullivan has two phones on him, one work phone and one personal phone. The guard sees both and asks for the PIN code. He refuses. And if you have ever watched any crime documentary ever, you already know refusing to unlock your phone instantly makes everyone suspicious. He's arrested, interviews begin. And from the very first interview, O'Sullivan says he feels he is being stitched up. He refused to answer further questions. Months pass. In December of that same year, he is arrested again, this time to be formally charged. He is brought to Shannon Garda station and charged with corruption. He later gets bail. At this point, most people would expect a quiet legal battle, but the story is just getting started. In January of 2020, O'Sullivan sits down for a voluntary interview with investigator. Before the interview begins, he reads a prepared statement, and this statement changes everything. He says he first heard about Detective Guard David Bork through an associate known in court only as GC, already mysterious. According to O'Sullivan, GC told him a senior detective wanted to meet him about alleged criminal activity in his business. So he was driving to a remote rural area near Ola. Yes, a remote rural area. Not a station, not an office, not a cafe, a rural meeting in a van. He says he got into a white van where Detective Garda Bork was waiting. The detective told him he was personally investigating criminal activities linked to his business and that a Criminal Assets Bureau investigation was coming. O'Sullivan says he was shocked and has no idea what the detective was talking about. He says he told the detective he wanted any future meeting to take place in a Garda station. which sounds like a very reasonable request. But according to O'Sullivan, the meeting continued. He said he later learned the detective was described as a powerful man with influence. He was told the detective worked closely with Superintendent O'Neill. Then the pressure allegedly began. O'Sullivan says he was told that if he was helpful, the detective could be helpful too. Helpful with road traffic issues, helpful with problems, helpful in general. 2 weeks later, he says he met the detective again. He says he was told he was under investigation and the superintendent was mentioned again. Then come the claim that shocked the courtroom. O'Sullivan says he was told money was wanted. He says he was told the detective and the superintendent could stop or delay criminal assets bureau matters. The amount mentioned was 120,000 euro. O'Sullivan says he felt he was being set up. He believed it was an attempt to extort money from him. He says he was told this officer could make life very difficult for him. He says he felt pressure, fear, anxiety, stress. He says he worried about his safety and his family. He says he began to feel followed and harassed. He says the superintendent appeared at places he regularly ate. He says the superintendent drove into his car yard in an unmarked car with the detective in the passenger seat. He says he approached the car and it drove away. He says his feared evidence could be planted at his premises. He says he feels trapped. Then come another dramatic moment. During his second arrest, O'Sullivan says he told the detective Sergeant Gilmore he wanted to tell the truth about everything. He says the detective made a call to a superior, and after the call, O'Sullivan says the detective told him, "I'm sorry, it's too late now." Detective Sergeant Gilmore told the court he does not remember this conversation. He said if it had happened, he would have written it in his notebook. There is no note. And this is where the trial becomes a tug of war between two completely different versions of events. The prosecution says the obligation of guards to seek evidence does not end after a suspect is charged. The defense says their client believed he was being extorted, and now a jury must decide which version they believe. The trial is still ongoing. No verdict yet, no final answers yet, just a courtroom full of questions about power, trust, and what really happened behind the scene. Because when corruption is alleged, the mystery is not just what happened, the mystery becomes who you believe. And that question can stay long after the verdict arrives. If you want fast updates on Irish true crime, subscribe. We cover everything before it hits mainstream headlines. Thank you.